Hi, and welcome to Personal Playback, where we talk about things that matter to people who matter. My name is Sterling, and welcome to episode 5. We have a very special guest with us today. Mason, tell us who you are.
Hey, I'm Mason. Currently working at Home Depot as a paint guy. Gonna be working about other departments too. Teach drums on the side. I'm in a couple projects. Ocean Motion, it's a solo project, live as a band. Dream in Colors, it's an electronic duo.
That's a cool name.
Dream in Colors?
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Good friend of mine that I work with at Home Depot. And then I recently joined the band Hollow as the drummer. And that's about it. Yep.
Cool. Mason, how did we meet?
It's one of my favorite stories. I remember we met at Kroger, pre-pandemic. I think pre-pandemic.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I just noticed, I noticed the lanyards, but specifically I remember the Vic Firth lanyard, and I'm like, drums.
Yeah.
And you're like, I play drums. I was like, me too.
There you go.
Yeah, it just from there.
Just
and
blossomed,
then
yeah.
you were in Ocean Motion for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was good fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, here we are, man.
Here we are.
Good to be here.
Yeah. I am really excited just to have you on the podcast.
Yeah, man.
Especially in Toledo, you are one of the staple people in my life that I know is always down to do something and is always doing something. I've talked to my wife about, like, whenever I talk to people, I always want you to be about something. Like, I don't like when someone's not about anything. Like, if I were to ask you, hey, what are you about? I know what it is, you know, because you do it, you live it. You know, you live your music, and then you're living the rest of your life and stuff, but you're always active and pursuing something, which is really cool.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
So today we are here to talk about a song by Tame Impala called Let It Happen. So Mason, could you give us a bit of a spoiler-free review of the song that you picked, whatever that means to you?
God. Spoiler free. How would I go about that, you think? Just like...
It's surface level-ish.
Yeah.
So not like, this is...
Can I talk like the genre?
Sure, of course.
Yeah. So it's definitely on the electronic side. It's definitely on the experimental side. There's definitely some weird things going on in it. Yeah, it's a combination of so many things. And yeah, definitely I would say changed my life for sure.
Awesome.
For sure.
So for our audience, feel free to listen to it before or after this episode and consider your own perspective. So Mason, where did you first hear the song, and what was happening in your life when you first heard it?
I first heard it when it came out.
That was recently too. It was July or something like that this year?
No. It turned 10.
Oh,
the song and album turned 10 this year.
Bad.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it came out in March 2015.
2015.
And I was,
yeah. Okay. Not
and I was in high school, and I was into him pretty big before. I really was a big fan of the first 2 records, and then that song came out, and it was really different from the first 2 records. So, which, when an artist changes their sound, it definitely can go 2 ways. People can like really hate it, or people can be like, "Whoa, this is crazy!"
Yeah.
Like, he pulled this off, and I think it was a little bit of both. When I heard it, I was like, "This is weird. I don't know if I like this." And then like later, I'm like, "Oh no, I love this." Yeah, I was in high school, and I think that was a time where I was starting to realize that, like, I can like music that's not like rock music.
Okay.
Like, that was like probably the intro. Because like when the full album came out, when Currents came out, I didn't know if I could like it at first, because it was really pop and it was really different from like kind of the rock guitar based stuff I was into. So I was like, I don't know if I can like this. Basically was the thing. And it's like, you can like what you want, you know, anyone can like what they want. It doesn't matter if it's pop or metal or hip hop or jazz or whatever it is, you like what you like. And yeah, it came out at a really good time. And but yeah, with it turning 10, like that record turning 10 kind of hit me harder than like graduating high school, straight up. Like, it was still like, holy shit, I didn't mean to cuss, but Currents is 10. Like, it hit me harder than high school. Like, yeah, it's still like, oh man, it's been 10 years since I graduated, but like, when I realized that it had been 10 years since that album, I was like, wow. And it just kind of took me back to that summer and going into college and stuff. And it was just, I mean, I feel like that period of time for most people is pretty foundational, you know, going from high school to college. And I know, you know, some people don't immediately go to college, but, and just having that kind of soundtrack be the soundtrack to that transition was huge for sure.
Yeah. So we'll talk about some of the context in your life a little later. But first, I wanted to look at some musical parts that stand out to you. So in the song, it's I think it's like 7 minutes long or something like that.
It's long, yeah.
What are some musical parts that stood out to you? Because I actually had some too as I was listening. But for you, what do you think are some?
To me, immediately, the thing that's really kind of freaky about this song is there's a part where it kind of has this like loop thing, and it almost sounds like your stereo or your whatever you're listening to is kind of like broken. You're just kind of like, you have to like check it. And the first couple of times I heard the song, I was like checking my headphones. I was like, is there something wrong with my headphones? Yeah. But it was intentional. He intentionally made that little and then he kind of mixes in this kind of like paddy kind of synth, and you're like, oh no, that's like part of the song. That's really cool. Yeah. Just the melodies are amazing. It just has everything that I just really like about music. The melodies and the drums are really cool, and the live version, especially that song, like Julian, the live drummer, he throws in some cool fills and stuff. Yeah, the ending guitar riff, and then when it comes back too is just. Yeah, there's a lot of kind of repeating things in the song that kind of make it a bit hookier, but I still would say, like I said earlier, it's pretty electronic, it's pretty experimental. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. I gotta say, I was thinking about that specific part, and I'm glad that you did the sound effect, because I was like, man, I'm gonna have to do this part because I really like this part. Yeah. But I'm gonna sound stupid, but I'm glad that you did it instead. Yeah. I also really liked that. I think about electronic music a lot, and in particular like auto-tune. And I think that it can be used as a tool to, of course, correct errors or whatever, like if you miss a note or if you're not 100% on or whatever. But I really like when electronic elements are used to enhance the musicality of the song.
Yeah.
And with what I feel like the vibe of the song is, it's a lot about, it's the name of the song, just letting things happen. And so I like it because it's almost like a creepy kind of vibe to things are happening around me, and it's glitched, like there's a break in the matrix almost, where stuff is happening and you're just keeping your head down, not looking at the glitches. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, that's cool.
And in addition to that, looking at, like, I'm a drummer, obviously, so, well, I shouldn't say obviously, but you know that I'm a drummer, and then you also play the drums. And when you look at what the drums are playing, it's just...
Yeah, the double time thing.
Yeah, for like a lot of the verse and the first 2/3 of the song. And I think that first of all, it's funny because as a drummer, even though I know it's really simple, I would love to play that in the context of the song. It would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Just really, really fun, happy kind of movements, I guess. But it is like monotonous, and that also kind of lends itself to that glitchy sort of moment, because it's like everything's fine, everything is normal, nothing changes, and then it's just kind of near the 2/3 mark, and you're like, oh, that's weird. So it just kind of accentuates that a little bit. And another thing, I tend not to do chord analyzations or anything like that, but this one I just noted it feels really, what's the word? Contemplative. Like the chords feel like they're making you think because they don't resolve at the end of it. And so I just on a piano, well, on my phone piano, but I was at lunch and I was just typing out the chords, and it ends on a major seventh.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
it
Yep.
doesn't resolve, and it feels contemplative. Just that specific ending on that specific chord. It doesn't go to the 1, doesn't go to the 5, whatever. It just ends on the major 7th. So it really just makes you think, is there something wrong? Should I be looking over here? You know, is this all normal? Is this all okay? So I really liked that sort of musical juxtaposition of like everything's happy and fun. The voice is really soft and soothing, you know, and then there's just something wrong, but it's over there. You know, it's fine.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
Yeah. So it's just a lot of things, I think, musically that it feels really simple, but super complicated. You know, there's a lot of depth that you can go into with that song. But that's enough of that.
I dig that, man. Yeah. That's cool.
So we talked about some musical parts. Were there any lyrical parts that stood out to you in this song?
There's the one part in the I think second verse. I'm trying to think of the words. And it's never been closer. So if my parachute fails, make up some other story. If I never come back, tell my mother I'm sorry. I feel like that's really like. I'm a big believer in art is up for interpretation, but like that part specifically, it makes you think like, what is he talking about there? My parachute fails, make up some other story. If I never come back, tell my mother I'm sorry. Like, I feel like you can definitely think about a couple different angles of what he's talking about there.
Sure.
I've been lucky enough to hear the song live a few times too, and like that's definitely like that's a part when like the whole crowd is like screaming those lyrics, you know, and then the da 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 like the crowd is doing the like they're out like a sports game or something. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. Yeah.
I really liked I heard about a whirlwind that's coming. I looked up the lyrics. I'm a cheater. It's going to carry off all that isn't bound, and when it happens, and it was really quiet. So this is the part that I had to look up the lyrics for, but it said, "I won't be holding on." I loved that part.
Yeah, it's cool.
Like it really, again, it's all in the title of just let it happen. Just stuff is going to happen, and maybe I'll get blown over. Maybe I'll fly 100 feet in the air. Maybe I'll stay here, but I'm not holding on.
Yeah, that's cool.
Again, just really, really deep lyrics for a song that's so. It sounds really fun, but there's a lot of depth in it. And to your point, the parachute.
Yeah. Parachute fails.
I like it because there's a deep way you can look at it, and then a really deeper way, quote unquote, that's maybe more adult. Because I'm going to take a risk. You know, like with the parachute, it could be just like a for fun thing where it's, I'm going to do this thing, throw caution to the wind, and for whatever reason, you know, whether it's for the experience or to say that you're brave enough to take a risk, and that can come out in a couple of ways, like I'm moving, or I'm getting a new job, or I'm taking a risk on this relationship, and if it doesn't work out, tell my mom I'm sorry, because you know maybe she didn't want you to take that risk.
That's cool, man. Yeah.
And also, of course, what I feel like most people are probably relating to is something along the lines of life or death.
Yeah.
You know, and if it doesn't work out, tell my mom like I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You know, that I didn't mean to hurt you, and et cetera, you know.
Yeah, that's a cool interpretation for sure. Yeah.
But it's kind of two ways, but I don't think either is wrong or anything like that.
That's what's great about it. Yeah. It's all up for debate, you know. There's no right or wrong.
Do you have I have a thing with movies in particular, but also books and most things. Like I like when there is an intended meaning, even if the meaning that I get from it isn't what was quote unquote like intended. Like do you feel like you lean more towards like art is art and art is everything kind of mindset, or like the artist should have some sort of intended meaning that you can kind of extrapolate from, that you can take your own meaning from if it's different? Do you have like a place on that spectrum where you kind of lie?
I think it depends. I think probably the first one, but if it's like, say it's like a tribute for someone, you know, you lost, you know, someone and you're like making a song that's a tribute for that person you lost, or, you know, I think a lot of like, I feel like breakup songs or like love songs, those kind you would like to think have a specific meaning, but even then, you know, maybe you think that it's about like love or a breakup or something, but it actually is about like,
Sure. Yeah.
I worked a crappy shift at my job and you know, I'm just throwing in something random. Sure. So I think it's a song to song basis. And I think there's some examples too where maybe the artist wants you to think a specific thing, but maybe someone interpreted it different. And I think kind of tying into, I like the idea of things being up for interpretation. I feel like as an artist, you shouldn't really like, it's not really your job of deciding how someone should feel. Like, I feel like you present it and they have to choose how they feel, sure. You know? So.
Very cool. Yeah. So we've talked about some of the musical parts and some of the lyrical parts. So just in general, and you can give as much context as needed, when you listened to this song for the first time, what did it make you feel? When you listened to it, I guess, even just in that time of your life, what did it make you feel and how did it impact you?
Yeah. Again, it was high school and it was rock and roll only, you know? So it was like, I don't think I like hated it. I was just thrown off by it. I was just like, this is, especially like, again, like his first two records were like really guitar heavy and like definitely like pretty rocky. I don't want to say polarizing. Some people would probably say polarizing. Yeah, I didn't know how to feel about it. And like in a lot of situations in music, you just have to keep going back to it, you know, because the more you go back to, the more you're going to get out of it. Even if you like don't like something, I feel like you'll get, like you may grow to like it, you know? I mean, honestly, like Tame Impala's putting out some, like a new record next week and stuff. And the first few singles have been definitely pretty mixed as far as responses. I myself being kind of on the fence about it. And the first single especially, like I didn't really care for it at first, and now I think I like it. But it's because I like kept going back to it and hearing different things, and Let It Happen is for sure another one of those songs. Like I feel like as time passes, like I just appreciate it more. Like something that kind of hit me like a couple years ago, the fact that he mixed it. Like playing all the instruments and singing it is amazing by itself, but like the fact that he recorded all that by himself and then he went in to mix it, like you have to be so like just like okay with all of it. And I mean, I've read a bunch of interviews and stuff where he like just thought it sucked, you know, and like he felt like people were just being nice to him when they're like, oh dude, this is awesome, and he's like, they're just being nice to me. And it's like that level of just self-doubt and the same time like discipline to be like, all right, not only did I like record and play all the instruments, now I'm gonna go in and, you know, mess with faders, mess with EQ and compression and all these things. Like hearing the same thing over and over again, louder and quieter and all too much bass or something like that, that's just insane to me. And then the guitar riff at the end, I didn't realize until like a couple years ago too, that like the bass is kind of doing the same thing too. So both the guitar and the bass are playing the same melody. And I felt like the bass, for whatever reason, when that part comes on, like I'm just so locked in the guitar part. I don't care about anything else. But like realizing that the bass is kind of sitting underneath the guitar doing the same exact thing just makes that so much more like impactful, I think. So yeah, it's a song that just the more, and listening to it on the way here, just the more I listen to it and as time passes, just the more I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah. I can see even just a bit of its influence in the way that you operate, because you've learned to play as you've grown as a musician so many instruments, and you've done editing and you've gone to so many gigs just across. I didn't meet you at a gig, but I met you at the Ottawa Tavern. No, well, we didn't meet at the Ottawa Tavern, but we've seen each other so many times at the Ottawa Tavern, and you've kind of, as I referenced earlier, given me so many opportunities to be a musician, you know, locally, where for me, I am one of the most introverted introverts that you'll ever meet. You can hear my voice or whatever on the podcast, and maybe it's booming, maybe it's super proud and loud, but I'm just some guy. But there are so many times when I just got a text and Mason's like, hey, I got these people that need a drummer. And I'm like, all right, I'm out there, you know.
Cool, man.
So it's something, again, that I'm super grateful for.
Yeah, man.
Just who you are as a person and as a musician. So would you say that, well, I guess, how would you say that Tame Impala has had an impact on your musicianship or your editing-ship, I guess, as a musician?
Yeah, just when I first got into him, it was before Let It Happen came out, and a friend showed me just like a couple songs on Lonerism, and I was like, this really sounds like the Beatles. Like, this sounds a lot like the Beatles, because his vocals sound like John Lennon at times. And I thought it was a band. I was on it, and I feel like a lot of people, and then there's just the running meme, you know, it's one guy, you know?
Yeah.
But when I found that out, that blew my mind. And there's plenty of other people that have done that, you know? You know, Prince and Paul McCartney and Todd Rundgren and, you know, James Murphy from LC Sound System, and I can go on and stuff. But I feel like nowadays it's a bit more rare. Like, the solo artist is definitely like, and I seen a video about this the other day, the solo artist is definitely like way more popular than bands right now. Although I think bands and rock and stuff's like really bubbling right now.
Yeah.
No one is a solo artist like Kevin Parker is, though. Like, they usually have someone like, we'll say Sabrina Carpenter, for example. She's a solo artist. And I'm not dissing Sabrina Carpenter at all. Actually, I really like Sabrina Carpenter. But she's got people behind her, you know. Like, she's got Jack Antonoff and Amy Allen, I think is her name, and this team of other people that are, she's still singing and writing and producing and stuff, but she has all these other people that are kind of helping. Whereas, like, Tame Impala, it's just him, man. Like, he's just doing everything, you know. And again, just the discipline and just the stuff that goes into his head, I can't even imagine. Like, I mean, I make music by myself, but like, and you shouldn't compare, but I just can't imagine what he had to go through to like make these records. Like, that probably just really just took everything he had, I'm sure. Yeah. So that was a big thing. Yeah, just finding out like that you could do that, you know. And then realizing that there's, you know, he's not the only one. There's plenty of other people nowadays that do make music by themselves. There's all the kind of indie cats, Mac DeMarco and Dayglow and plenty of people. I know people locally that do it too, you know, just do all the stuff and then live as a band and stuff. So I feel like, I just feel like Tame Impala, though, he's like, when we're talking like individuals that can do that in like a modern context, he's like the gold standard. I would say, anyway. Yeah, that's really cool that even in high school it gave you as you said, modern, relevant, and high standard example of this is possible. You know, and so again, I just see it so often in how much you've learned, again, instruments, but also how to work with other people, even as a musician that can do all the things. You know, you've been a band leader, you've been in other bands, so many bands right now, as you name dropped 3 of them, you know. But then also just as you've come to learn about other bands and how many name drops you just gave in the last sentence. You know, yeah, it's really cool. Something that I thought about as I was listening
to this song is there are two songs, well, two things actually. One is that, do you know Abby Holiday? No? Wow.
Check them out.
I'm genuinely surprised that I know something, a group that you don't.
Yeah.
Do you know Lewis Cole?
That name rings a bell. Yeah.
He's a drummer too.
Okay.
But this song felt like a mix of Noise by Abby Holiday, which is a song that I really like. Deals a lot with nihilism and sort of like nothing mattering and all the noise that's going out, all over there. But then Lewis Cole has a song called Let It Happen.
Does he really?
He does.
That's crazy.
So when I heard this, it was really funny because I listened to Lewis Cole's song and it's such a different vibe than this song. Obviously, because they're different artists. They're different people, But it made me think about the difference between acceptance and apathy. Because I feel like Lewis Cole's song, if you listen to it after, it's
dude, definitely. Yeah. I'll check out all this. Yeah,
it's also a long song, but it goes like the chorus is everything will be, let it happen, let it happen. And it has a whole key changes. It goes up and up and up. Cool. It's really fun, but it's really simple too, and just as repetitive, I guess, in a similar way. But it's so much more joyful in that. And when I feel like this one is much more contemplative and like, is everything okay? Like you're just letting stuff happen around you. And first of all, I think no song has put me on and made me more interested in Tame Impala than this one. So definitely kudos to you for picking this.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. I would say it's one of his biggest songs now. I mean, Less I Know the Better from the same record. That's like his pop hit.
Sure.
Yeah.
But it's been really fun just to think about how the two present a really similar idea differently, where they're both like, things are out of your control, let it happen, is kind of the general theme, I guess. But one is saying like, just accept that you can't change everything, let it happen, it's fine. Yeah. And the other one is like, this like actual hurricane is going to blow me over. I'm not going to hold on. I'm not going to try. Yeah. So it's really interesting to see the different approach of the two songs. So that's something I just thought about this week. Yeah. I don't know if you have any thoughts about that in particular, but.
No. Yeah. It's, I don't know. It's almost relevant to like, I mean, a lot of things, but, I feel like with me lately, the past like year, there's been a lot of change, and I've been saying, this has kind of been like one of my mottos lately, is like, I shouldn't be mad at something I can't control. You know what I mean? Yeah. So like, I, no pun intended, have to let it happen. So like, there's a lot of things going on in life, in the world right now, and it's like you can be emotional about it, or you can just kind of just roll with the punches, and just the past year I've just really tried to like not be as emotional about it, and just kind of be like, all right, well, that's how this is, and I just need to pivot, and just roll with it, and next page kind of thing. Yeah. So basically, yeah. And it's all interpretation.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny you mentioned the bit with the parachute and just that ongoing, maybe not struggle, but just part of your life that you're dealing with of letting things happen. So just I know that we've kind of talked about your mom before, but I liked just thinking of that specific part of that lyric of like, parachute might fail. It doesn't work, sorry, Mom.
Yeah.
So it's just funny to hear you talk about how you're going through all this stuff and you're persevering through things that you can't change, but you're still doing it.
Yep.
You're still even if it's hard, difficult, whatever, unknown, you're still doing it, and you're doing it as as we all are, kind of. Not by yourself, but you're paving your own way.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I have, I think, 2 more questions for you.
This has been really fun, man.
Yeah.
It's been cool.
It's been great.
Yeah.
So is this similar or different to what you listen to now as adult Mason?
Yeah, no, it's pretty similar. It's similar, but also different. I feel like kind of no matter what mood I'm in or no matter what, I'm going to be kind of down for something dancier for sure.
Yeah.
Like that hasn't changed in 10 years. But at the same time, like, again, when this came out, I was like, rock only. And then I got into the rest of the record and I'm like, no, like I can listen to other stuff. And I expanded my tastes, you know? And I think a few years back, there was just kind of a weird crossroads where I was kind of like almost pushing away rock and stuff. There was a time where I was like going through Spotify and stuff and I was like, all right, do I want to listen to Iron Maiden or Jay-Z? And I went with Jay-Z.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, I'm like, I can like both.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like there was like, I kind of had like the realization past couple of years, it's like, why am I turning my back on like, I mean, rock and metal is what got me into music. Like the first band that really connected me was Metallica. And I don't really listen to Metallica and stuff anymore. I mean, I still have a lot of respect and love for them, but that I was like, oh, guitar solos and long songs and stuff. Like, that's cool. And auto-tune and rap is bad, and it's like, no, not really. I'm wearing like a Tribe Called Quest shirt, you know. I love hip hop, I love R&B, I love jazz, I love all music, you know. And I think that like there was again like a crossroads a couple years ago where it was like, I've grown up, I've moved past rock music. It's like, and again now lately, it's just like, no, like why am I doing that? Like why am I turning my back on like the thing that got me into the thing?
Yeah,
you know,
putting yourself in a box a little bit.
Yeah. So it's kind of half and half. It's like I'm always down to listen to something that's gonna make me kind of groove, but at the same time, like I was listening to Andrew Burdenway here, and he's like really folky, you know, a little bit different than Tame Impala, you know. Yeah, so it definitely it broadened my tastes, but it also. Yeah, it took me on a journey. It took me on a journey, and I'm always down for that kind of thing. But at the same time, like I'll probably listen to some other stuff too, depending on what's going on. Yeah.
I like that you listen to that you know what you like. You know, I've talked to plenty of people who would say, yeah, I listen to a little bit of everything, and I'll say like who. You know, music.
Yeah.
You know? So
sounds.
Yeah.
Air from a speaker.
That's fine. But I like that you're honest and like it does depend. It depends on how you're feeling, but also that it has changed over the years. You know. So last question: what would you tell someone listening to this song for the first time to sort of either brace them for the experience or get them in the right headspace to consume, let it happen?
I think there's a lot of different ways I can approach that. If I was like putting my foot down and being like, this is how you're gonna do it, I'd say if you're at like a party or some sort of gathering, put that song on, make sure it's real loud, and have fun and just dance, you know, have fun with your friends. And I mean, it's in the title, like we said, you know,
let it happen.
Just let it happen, groove with your friends, have a good time, listen to it loud. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Well, we can call it there. This has been Personal Playback, where we talk about things that matter to people who matter. And remember, you matter too. Thank you, Mason. Mason, where can people check you out?
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. This has been really cool. That was fast too. That like, I don't know how long we've been talking. That was quick. People can find me. I prefer Instagram. I think it's under Ocean Motion or Ocean_Motion. You can type in my name too. I think my name's the Bio Mason Baker. I'm on TikTok and Facebook and all that stuff too, but I would say Instagram is probably the best way to reach me for sure.
Awesome. Well, Mason, it was a pleasure, and I'll see you later.
Yeah, man. Thank you.